This is how you know that you have a perfect TRT protocol. You know, I think the interesting thing about TRT is, like, you know, people think it's kind of plug and play, but it typically ends up not being plug and play.
Now we plug into the same one, and then we crisscross. Look at that! What's he doing? No, don't poop. No, he's shaking like he's gonna poop.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's a lot of adjustment that a guy has to do to get a protocol straight for erections, for libido, to feel good, to not have side effects, to not have high hematocrit, to not have high estradiol. And modifying hormones via, like, changing your protocol, it takes some time for your body to adjust. So it's difficult for people to then go and adjust further to get their protocol dialed in a little bit more if they feel relatively okay, because people know that it's a long process when you change something. But I can tell you this, having the right TRT protocol, like everything dialed in, feels phenomenal. And I'm going to talk about 8 things in this video that are effectively what a perfect TRT protocol looks like. Again, the hottest product this week so far since we launched it has been the Supercharged Dopamine Speed Course. This is a course that teaches you how to restore dopamine neurons in projection, replenish dopamine levels fast, upregulate dopamine receptors, fix dopamine neurochemistry, repair dopaminergic signals, and more. It's a speed course yours truly. You can get it in the description of this video or at livecortex.com. Second hottest product this week has been the Cortex Nootropic Stack. I mean, look, focus and flow in a bottle, but also very powerful stimulant. If you want a stack that turns the lights on instantly, get Cortex. You can get it in the description of this video. All right, so yes, your objective as a male that's on testosterone replacement therapy should be to dial in your dose so significantly that you feel great like 95+% of the time.
No, like I know it would. I feel good.
Hey,
What's up,
hey,
man?
why are you so happy back there and I'm taking you to jail?
When you're taking me, I got 24 hours away from my wife, man.
And all of the common issues that can come along with TRT, like high hematocrit or anxiety or depression or, you know, estradiol issues, and trying to balance that out. Acne, heart rate disturbances, sleep rate disturbances, all those things are effectively non-existent when you have the perfect TRT protocol. So let's talk about what that looks like. All right, I'll run through 8 things of what having a perfect TRT protocol looks like, and I'll give you some tips along the way on how to actually make this happen. All right, number 1. Your protocol lands you at the right levels of estrogen. This is, I mean, estradiol is probably the most tricky element of having a perfect TRT protocol. I mean, it's very, very difficult to dial the estradiol in. You really have to do a lot of reading, a lot of experimenting, a lot of understanding of the half-lives of certain drugs like aromatase inhibitors and or how your body aromatizes. Whether this is you on 180 milligrams a week of testosterone split up into every other day injections and, you know, 0.25 milligrams of anastrozole once per week, or it's you very heavily focusing on reducing aromatization via reducing body fat, eating better, cutting out alcohol and cannabis, and getting your dose down to something like between 110 and 140 with a mild low dose, kind of a minimum effective dose of HCG, where you keep your estradiol in that 25 to 35 picograms per milliliter range. Both can work. I think the former, using an AI, is certainly more tricky, but either way, what a perfect TRT protocol looks like is either your test plus your HCG or test without HCG plus an AI that's very, very meticulously dialed in, or your protocol of test HCG or just test with no HCG but no aromatase inhibitor in the picture, but your testosterone dose doesn't allow you to aromatize a whole lot, in addition to you ensuring that you're reducing aromatization via basically lifestyle. If I could give a percentage to the clients that I've got, and also in just like accruing and aggregating all of the data from the TRT and the testosterone subreddits of like what can be and in what percentage attributed to significant issues on TRT, it's estrogen, you know, and it'd be like 85-90% of the issues come via estrogen, whether it's too low, too high, managing AIs, etc. All right, so yeah, number 1 on a perfect TRT protocol is your protocol has to land you in a place where estradiol is in the right place for you, and it generally stays there. It can fluctuate a couple points, but you don't want it fluctuating a whole lot. Number 2 marker of a perfect TRT protocol is you feel great. You don't have anxiety, You have no depression. You don't have any like wacky symptoms like head pressure or neck pain, like if you got super high hematocrit. No bloating, no hot flashes, no abnormal blood pressure, no hematocrit problems. You generally feel really good. You feel strong. You feel zesty. You're interested in life and you have energy throughout the day. If your TRT protocol doesn't allow you to feel that way, something's definitely wrong and you've got to do some modification of your protocol. Number 3, and very importantly, you have stellar erections. That's morning wood, nocturnal wood, random erections, like you have consistent erections, seamlessly consistent erections during sex, and you generally just have no problems like in the boner department. Now, that's a tricky one too, and depends so significantly on more so estradiol and keeping that in the right range for you than anything else. Obviously, if prolactin goes above range, you're going to have erectile issues. There's inhibition of erectile function at the penile base that is induced via prolactin. But generally, as I referred to in the first one, estradiol is usually the reason for subpar erection quality, and that's either too high or too low, and or if it's in range for you but it's fluctuating too much. Again, you want to keep the estradiol very, very stable. Number 4, you have a healthy, I would call it high normal libido. All right, your libido, like, it really shouldn't be very, very excessive, because then you probably have acne, you probably have some sort of imbalance in androgens or estrogen. The ratio may be off in some sort of way. Like, if I have found if you have very, very aggressively excessive libido, it's usually not sustainable and something's wrong in the regimen. But that isn't to say you don't want it high. You want a healthy, high normal libido, to the point where, look, you can focus on work if you have to, right? But if the right woman comes along, or the right whatever you're interested comes along, then you basically respond viscerally and mentally in terms of all that hypothalamic dopamine libido stuff. Limbic system activates and you are very, turned on. One of the major issues, right, which ultimately stems from the, female metabolites effectively of testosterone, which are predominantly estrogen, but in some sense prolactin, because estrogen is prolactogenic. It's like when estrogen gets out of range, or it's below range, or it isn't consistently where it needs to be, well, then libido definitely takes a hit. But a perfect TRT protocol is a healthy, high normal libido. Number 5, and this might be surprising to some people, or maybe kind of a kick in the butt. It's like, for people to change their protocol, is you have minimal to no acne. Hormonal acne is absolutely the worst, and throughout changing my protocols throughout the time that I've been on TRT, I've certainly had it, and it was, absolute pain in the ass. But if you can get the protocol right for you, where not only you feel good, erections are good, but your acne starts to recede and get better, and it's like you have maybe a little bit tolerable, fine, that's okay in a perfect TRT protocol, or none. Fluctuating hormones for sure cause acne. This is why, generally speaking, you want to be stable. 6, and this is an important one, you have minimal or no significant disturbances to heart rate. That's always the common concern when people go on TRT, like some of the prehistoric, I would call it, literature that's certainly been debunked at this point, that testosterone replacement therapy is bad for your heart. It's definitely not. It is very good for your heart under the right conditions, with the right dose, with the right estradiol, and with the right balanced hematocrit. But, if those things aren't balanced and your protocol just needs adjustment, then for sure you're going to have significant disturbances in your heart rate. Just to give you an example, my heart rate's typically about 55, 60 beats per minute. And on TRT, on the right protocol, it literally stays at 55 to 60 beats per minute. There have been times where I went very, very anabolic in pretty high doses, and that obviously messed my protocol up. Took some more time to get it adjusted, where the heart rate bumped up to like 70, 75 beats per minute. Not terrible, but certainly not where I'm ideally, where I like to be. Number 7, and this is also a very important one, you sleep well, okay? I think a bad TRT protocol will show itself in the form of a lot of things, but, one of the major things is you're not going to sleep well. And you'll kind of on the seesaw tatter much more toward like anxiety-based sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, or having a difficult time falling asleep, or having excessive heart rate as you're falling asleep, having insomnia.
I wish I could sleep, but then my stupid ADHD kicks in, and well, it's basically 1 sheep, 2 sheep, cow, turtle, duck. Old MacDonald had a farm.
A lot of you guys on TRT know that, if the dose is wrong for you and your protocol is bad, you are going to sleep like shit. You don't want that, all right? So a perfect protocol looks like all these things in addition to sleeping very well, having an easy time going to sleep, staying asleep, having restful sleep, waking up and being ready to kill the next day. Eighth thing, okay, last thing, your strength and your recovery in the gym is consistent. You know, like, it's such a beautiful thing to have a perfect TRT protocol that's super, super dialed in for you, and then your body adjusts to the hormones at those levels, and you just fucking feel like you're firing on all cylinders all the time. Because 6-7 days a week, you can go to the gym, crush it, hit PRs or maintenance if you need to deload, you got a shoulder injury or something. But like you recover magnificently. Like those 6-7 days, it's like you're all good. You know, you wake up the next day, you know, have your coffee or breakfast or whatever you do in the morning, or maybe you fast, and then you go to the gym and you crush it. So that is what a perfect TRT protocol looks like. Anything short of that and you have adjustment to do. Now, I understand that it's difficult to adjust because your body has to then again balance out in response to some of the changes that you made, and that can be a pain in the ass because it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks depending on the person. But you know, the whole point of this video is like to urge people, like, if all these things aren't correct, it's definitely time to go back to the drawing board, do a lot of reading, a lot of researching, a lot of thinking, a lot of understanding of the scientific literature around sex hormones, and then, you know, some careful, diligent, small increment adjustments to get yourself dialed in. As I've said, the most significant factor or marker that contributes to a bad TRT protocol where, you know, you don't have your levels of estradiol right, where you don't really feel great, maybe you have some anxiety, maybe you have some depression, your erections aren't great, your libido isn't good, you're not sleeping well, your acne's all over the place, is in fact estradiol. Estrogen, man, like that is the absolute like ruiner of the TRT experience. So that's just got to be in the right range, you know, and so much of perfecting your protocol actually has to do with getting the estrogen in the right place. At livecortex.com, one of our consultations is a TRT protocol optimization. Now, I'm going to be creating a speed course for this. If you want to just wait for that, it's probably going to be 2 months down the line or something. But if you need optimization of your TRT protocol, I've been working on TRT for 6 or 7 years with a lot of clients. So I've seen what adjustments do where guys generally need to be in terms of estradiol, and specifically how to get there. I understand how to make it possible for guys to reach every one of their goals on TRT, feel great, have great erections, libido, you know, but importantly, have a general sense of strength and well-being. You can book me in under a minute on the TRT protocol optimization at livecortex.com. It's either a 20-minute fact-finding call and then protocols to follow via an online document, or 25 minutes of email exchanges, and again, a protocol online document setup that's personalized for you. As I said in the beginning, hottest product so far this week, Supercharged Dopamine Speed Course. It's about 30 minutes. It's very cut and dry, but very, very information dense on how to restore dopamine neurochemistry, fix dopamine deficiencies, upregulate dopamine as a system, but specifically the receptors, repair dopaminergic signals, and also force some dopamine release. And you can get it right now at livecortex.com. All links for everything are down in the description of this video. All right, boys, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Much more content coming this week. Look forward to it. I hope you're having a great week, and I will talk to you in the next one.